Hey guys, so I just wanted to go and talk about the new DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, right? Because, like, oh my fucking god, this shit was fucking fire. Oh my god, it was so fucking good. But yeah, so basically, I wanted to give my whole thoughts on it, what I liked about it, and just do like a general overview of it, right? So by the way, there's gonna be spoilers, right? So if you don't want fucking spoilers, get the fuck out of here, right? Anyway. But so the DLC starts off with part one, right? And honestly, there's nothing wrong with part one. I fucking loved part one. Oh my god. I get into, I'm like, there's some more criticisms in part two, right? But in part one, basically what happens is you, like, for the most part of the game, right, you're hanging out with this like really tall chick called like Carmine, right? And her brother Kieran, right? But Kieran, he's like a total fucking wimp, right? But he's obviously got some kind of what's the word? It's like he's sensitive. He like his sister bullies him, right? And his sister's a fucking bitch, dude. Fuck his dude. By the way, his sister has no fucking cake. She flat as shit, dude. Anyway, regardless, right? But because of his sister's bullying, and because guess what? Your character comes in and effectively steals his favorite Pokemon, right? What ends up happening is he ends up going into a total fucking rage where he basically swears up revenge on you, the character, right? And it's like the coolest like character arc ever, because like there's this guy that goes from a total wimp to one of the most believable school shooter looking dudes you would ever see, right? And so that's what happens in part one, right? Now part two, this is where I would say the criticisms start to come in, right? Because personally, I think there was a lot of missed opportunities in part two, right? I think there should have been a lot more interactivity with Kieran, right? But regardless, in part two, you finally do get to meet Kieran again. This time the dude has pulled back his fucking hair into like a ponytail, kind of like the ponytail I wear actually, right? And the dude has become a total fucking Giga Chad. Dude is like straight up like being like Andrew Tate, right? Literally, it's like I said, is like I was kind of wanting him to come in and like literally just say something like minorities should be oppressed, and then there'd be like a fucking explosion in the background and he just walks away not giving a shit, right? Like he literally became that much of a fucking Giga Chad. I'm not even joking, right? But so God. Like he's a total fucking asshole. Like I remember there's this one moment where his sister says something and he's like, shut it, sis. Like my jaw dropped. I'm like, holy shit, Nintendo just fucking dropped the most asshole character that they have had in forever, okay? And like the last time we got a character this much of a dick was back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver with, Silver being the rival, right? But so like this guy, he's a very worthy rival, right? Not only is he a dick, but his Pokemon are actually pretty tough. Now, in my view, he wasn't the toughest trainer. For me, the toughest trainer was like the black lady who was like a steel gym leader. I don't remember her name, but she was pretty cool. But anyway, back to Kieran, right? So this is where my criticism starts to come in, right? Because after you beat Kieran, now you can go catch Terrapagus, right? And by the way, Kieran has not changed. He still wants to beat you, okay? Which I'm honestly happy about. I don't think they should have taken that away from him. Like, that was his character arc. His character arc was going from a total wimp to being a Giga Chad. He needs to stay a Giga Chad. He just needs to be less of a dick about it, right? You know, he's got to be more humble, right? But so you go to catch Terrapagus, right? But Kieran actually finds Terrapagus first, right? And the saddest thing ever happens, right? Just like with fucking Ogerpon, when Terrapagus like gets let out, Terrapagus sees you, the character, first, and it starts walking over to you, right? And now Kieran's like, shit, not this fucking time, right? And dude pulls out a Master Ball. By the way, this was fucking, like, this was foreshadowed, right? Because guess what? After you beat Kieran, you, the player, get a Master Ball, which means because Kieran is a champion, right? He should theoretically have a Master Ball, right? And of course, you know, he does, right? So, he throws the Master Ball at Terrapagus while it's like walking over to you, forcefully catching it, right? And it's kind of implied that this is a bad thing, right? But honestly, I don't see it as a bad thing. He got to it first, and like, you took his Pokemon, right? So like, why should he not get the hidden treasure of Area Zero, right? But then, even further, Nintendo dropped the ball, right? They didn't let him keep it, right? Because of course you have to fill out the Pokédex, right? You have to be able to catch Terrapagus yourself, right? So what happens is this whole spiel where basically they terrestrialize Terrapagus, and he can't put it back into the ball now. It's like too powerful, right? And because of that, you have to battle it, right? And then you, the player, throw a ball at it, even though it's his fucking Pokemon. He just caught it, right? So, and honestly, there was a much better way they could have gone about this. Like, think about it, right? He has wanted Ogerpon, like, he wanted to be with Ogerpon his whole life, right? And you have Ogerpon, right? So, why not let him keep Terrapagus? And in order for you, the player, to fill out the Pokédex, just make it so that he trades you Terrapagus for Ogerpon. Not only does that make it so that he can, like, stay a Giga Chad, but kind of, you know, mend his mental wounds with you, the player. It makes it so that you can fill out the Pokédex. It makes it so that he can get Terrapagus, he can get Terrapagus, but then, you know, eventually get Ogerpon back. And all in all, it honestly adds a lot of value now to that Terrapagus, right? It's like, do you want Terrapagus or do you want Ogerpon? Or in order to get both, right, now you're going to need to go online, right? But, you know, you can still have both in the Pokédex, but you can't have a living dex of them unless you go online. So I think that would have been a much better idea. Significantly better idea. But yeah. Anyway, I gotta go to work now, guys. But honestly, I fucking love the DLC. I would highly recommend you guys get the DLC. It was really good. So